Do you both think that leadership can be taught or that people can become good leaders? Abhishek first, then Sairee.
At least it has to be learned. I don't know if it can be taught, but I don't think anyone's born a leader. I think it's a matter of time. It's also to do with which stage of life and career you're in, right? I've seen people change and evolve into very good leaders, in time. And I don't know if it can be taught, but you have to learn all the time. One of the first people I worked with, I remember bumping into him 6 months after I joined that company, and he asked me, because the company had a training module in the beginning for new joinees, and that was over. And he asked me, "So you're done with your learning?" So I said, "Yeah." So I thought he's talking about that course, and I said, "Yes, of course." So he stopped me and said, "You should never stop learning." And he said, "I'm 60 years old. I still am learning every day," and that stuck with me, because no matter what stage of your career you are in, look at today, right? I mean, there are so many things I can learn from people who are under 20, under 30, and those are pretty much new to me, not to them. They're born into those technologies, those behaviors. Markets are changing, right? So it's even more critical, because as a company, if you're catering to a certain portion of the society, or certain demographic, you have to keep learning, because you might be 50, but your consumer might be 25, right? And that remains. You can never stop learning, and that applies to leadership. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep learning from younger people, older people, from other markets, from other companies. And when it comes to leadership per se, yes, it has to be learned.
Sairee, do you think it can be taught? Do you think it can be learned? Is it something you get better at with practice?
I think you definitely get better at. I think leadership is an inside job. So what to me that really means is that each one of us has a duty to ourselves to grow in whichever position of life we are in, and that itself is leadership. I think it starts with leadership of your life, before leadership of everything else happens. I mean, self-awareness is the biggest mark of any leader we will meet, or any person we've worked with who we are inspired by. So if the subtext of leadership is inspiration, motivation, learning, and of course constant growth, right? Like in whichever role you are. So it's not so much about the hierarchy. It's a little bit about your ownership of everything around you, starting with your life. So it could be something as basic as your health habits. I think they are part of the leadership construct. Your learning habit, your ability to connect with people, and of course your ability to make the change seamlessly as and when required. So but we can all learn this, because either conditions can teach us that, or we can have people who can teach us that, or at least we're influenced by people in our lives. And to us, I think some of us are here because we're influenced by leaders who we have worked with. And these are not just hierarchical leaders, but just people around us who are either peers, or who were just so good at their job that it made us want to be good at our jobs, or just want to be good at life. And I think and that's the best part about it, that it doesn't need a corner office. It just needs, and especially in this world where hierarchies are being broken at a pretty fast pace.
That's interesting, because you're right. Traditionally, we always think of the leader as a person who's got the designation, the role, the corner office, whereas
Yeah.
both of you actually learned both from hierarchical leaders, peers, mentors,
Yeah.
and that's something we're hoping we can also inculcate with Tap In.